All right, bet.
All right, so welcome to Crown City Sports. This is Brian. I'm joining with my friends Jay and Jacob, and today we're going to talk about what the Kansas City Chiefs must do to win on Sunday. So Jay, I'm going to let you start it off.
Wait, is Jacob here already?
Yes, you do.
Okay. My fault. So yeah, so when it comes to the Chiefs, the main thing that I see is like it's not really exactly what they need to do, it's what they're gonna need to stop. So the Eagles have always been a threat, especially in the run game. So you have to stop Saquon. I'm not sure what he's gonna go for, especially because Spags he's raised this defense to be such a good run defense
Wait,
that's
wait, hold up. Wait, hold up. We might have to restart. He's joining right now.
yeah. So yeah, So what I'm thinking that the Chiefs do need to do is not really about what they have to do. It's really about what they have to stop. Because the last time these two teams played, I think it was 38-35. And obviously that's a huge scoring game. So first of all, you need to take Saquon out of the game. If Saquon's still in the game, you are not going to have a good day. I can't remember what he rushed for last game, but he easily has the rushing title for the year. He passed 2,000 yards, almost broke Edie's record. So he's your main priority. Jalen Hurts being injured, from what I heard, especially at least for last game, he had, I think it was a knee problem. So he's gonna be throwing the ball a lot more compared to like what he usually does with the tush push and everything. But there's there's obviously factors to football. I think that they're going to be mainly prioritizing Saquon, like I said earlier. But you also need to make sure that you keep Jalen Hurts at least a little bit out of the game. Probably take away more than likely Devonta Smith, if anybody. But that's my take on it. Jacob, what do you have?
I can't agree with you more about the Saquon take. I mean, I feel like this entire year, the Eagles have, at least their offense wise, has been through Saquon. All he needed really was an O line, and as soon as he got that, he took off and made that Eagles offense so much better than last year. Um, for the Chiefs to win this game, they have to neutralize Saquon and be just efficient on offense. Because I feel like this year, sometimes there can be some miscues on offense, even with Mahomes behind the helm. Um, the O line is a big key too, especially the tackles position with the one that's kind of been wavering all year. Now Joe Thuney's, I know, playing it. So just figuring out the O line and figuring out the offense, and once you get in a good groove there, you should be good. And with the defense, um, I would not change much with the defense. Because sometimes if you try to get cute, it can uh turn into a lot of bad things for a team. And I feel like um sometimes the Chiefs can have easy miscues in games when they try to do things not the book. Um, and so I feel like just stick with the game plan on offense, being efficient, and then going after Barkley on defense.
Yes, I also had to add on. We got to stop Saquon. Like I said, he was the leading rusher this year. But we also keep in mind that we have a top five rushing defense. And keep in mind, this is the also same defense that stopped Derrick Henry from time to time to time. So yes, we got a game plan around Saquon, and we also got a game plan around Jalen Hurts with the push. So the only way they can beat us is by rushing with Saquon and Jalen Hurts. So we have to make them air it out to Devon. Like I said, Devontae. We got to lock Devontae down, Devontae Smith down. So they have to beat us with their passing game. And the Eagles passing game is not that good. I'm pretty sure they're like mid-20s. So we got to lock down the receivers. So that's my take. And then for offensively,
Yeah.
yeah. So for offensively, we have to we got to rush. Honestly, and more than passing, because I feel like if we feed Carmine and Isaiah Pacheco, we could beat them in the running game. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mahomes did too. I feel like in the AFC Championship game, he had a lot of good runs, and I feel like if we run it a lot, we could have a good chance of beating them in the running game.
I agree with you a lot on like how to beat them with the run game and starting out, but when what you said about the Eagles having a top 25, I just think that maybe it's true. I haven't really gotten to check the stats, but um even with them being that low rated, you can't sleep on it. I mean, you have AJ Brown, you have Devonta Smith, you have Dallas Goedert. They have weapons to throw to, and it's really not that Jalen was missing. It's really just that they didn't click early on in the season, and so you see a bunch of guys who are just getting targets after targets. I think the line for Devontae on some of his like parlays was like 6 receptions, and that alone is going to be a big part. That alone is going to tell you a lot about how much he's really getting the ball. AJ Brown, I think he's lower, but even still, he's their big play guy. He's their go up and get it guy. He's gonna go. He's more than likely in my coming down with a touchdown on Saturday. But I don't know. We'll just see. I mean, we'll see. I think if anything, what the Chiefs really should do on offense, yes, you're right. They need to get that run game going, but also they need to get DeAndre involved. They need to get Xavier involved. I even think getting Noah Gray involved in that offense is going to help out a lot more.
Yeah, I do feel like Noah Gray could be our game factor because I feel like this was his best year too. I'm not saying Travis had a bad year, but I feel like Noah Gray he just had a same a good year as him. So yes, I definitely agree with Noah Gray. Jacob, what do you think?
I mean, I agree a lot with that Noah Gray take because I feel like, at least in past years, a lot of defenses would try to double team big weapons of the Chiefs, especially Travis, especially Tyreek. And then that always leaves a guy open, whether if it is Noah Gray or whether even if it's another wide receiver like Jay mentioned. I feel like Hopkins getting involved would be very beneficial for them, especially even just throwing it to him one-on-one because he can catch that ball if needed. Um, and I think it was um, Brian that made the case on running the ball with Mahomes. I can't agree more. He has one of the more underrated running games as QB in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Because you talk about his rushing or not rushing, throwing ability just in general. If he can get outside, he can get easily 20 yards, 30 yards just in general. Um, Going off about Jay's take with the Eagles offense, I agree with even though they have 25 or in the top 25, um, they have a good O line, which will give Jalen Hurts a lot of time to throw those weapons. Um, so it's all about containing Jalen Hurts too in the passing game because he can escape. He's fast as well, and just making sure you don't get beat over top with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith as well because they can easily do something like I said with Hopkins one-on-one as well.
Yeah,
And
I will say.
I think
Oh,
my
I was,
fault.
I was. No, you're good. I will say, these past two Super Bowls, if you guys look back in the game tapes, Mahomes had 2 big runs, to win both games actually. So yeah, like I said, don't be surprised if he has a big run. So we're sorry, Jay, to interrupt you. What were you gonna say?
No, you're good. The main thing that I really want people to know though is that Casey could be sleeping on these Eagles corners because I'm sorry, but Quinyon
100%.
DeJean, that secondary is scary. Like, and not just that, that D line is scary. It's basically all Georgia players. You got Nolan Smith, one of the fastest edge rushers in the league. You got Jalen Carter, who's been on a tear this year. And the only real weakness I can see on their team at all is really linebacker. I mean, their linebackers I can't really name just off the top of my head, but even still, that defense is going to be hard to get through. So rushing with Mahomes, I can't see it. I just don't think he'll get anything like a 20, 30-yard run, but I think he could
See that?
manage. Yeah, like I think he'll get a good little run at the goal line. Like maybe
Yeah.
it breaks down, he gets into the end zone. I can definitely see something like the corn dog play. I could see where he try to, rush it on in. And then
Yeah.
as far as it goes with the Eagles, honestly, I could see them getting a pick six and just switching this whole game around. So honestly, it's going to be good. I doubt it's going to be a low scoring game. So, just if you got bets in, hey, my bet
Pretty
is
dire.
I mean, yeah, 100%. Yeah. There's a lot of unsung heroes in the Eagles defense. Specifically, like you said with Dezine. I'm an Iowa Hawkeye fan, so I followed him throughout his college years. This kid's a stud. I mean,
Yes,
he's a stud. And with I will comment on one of their linebackers. I think his name's Zach Bond. He had a very good year this year. was not expected to have a good year. So the Eagles have a lot of good players at a lot of good positions. Um, so I can see where you're coming with that Mahomes take. So basically, I feel like maybe the Chiefs got to just find other weapons, other people that you wouldn't usually go to, and then you can get in easily right there.
Nico is one. Nico's a big time one too.
Yes, sir.
100%. Yeah.
All right, so I do have a question. How do we stop the tush push? Because I remember the our past rule matchup with the Eagles. We could not stop the tush push. So how can we stop that tush push? Because we did it against the Bills in their tush push, but the Eagles have the best tush push in the league. So how do you guys think we can stop that?
I would like to comment on this heavily, actually. I've been thinking about this all year with if we were to verse the Eagles again, because last year or when they had Jason Kelsey was a lot more effective. And now they have a different center, and it's proved to not be as effective as this year. However, it still works. So it's it's all a matter of just piling up the goal line and trying to get a perfect jump. It's not. I wish I had a better game plan to face it. Um, it's very hard to stop, and since it's a legal move, I'm it's perfectly fine for them to do. But I can see it being less effective since Jason Kelsey's not there anymore.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I do
mean,
agree. I said, I do agree because I think the Commanders they stopped it at least one time, but two times or one time, but I know they've sure stopped it once in the NFC Championship game. So yes, it is possible. But yes, I do believe in see Spagnuolo to drop a game plan for that. Jay, you want to
Yeah,
comment on this or
I mean, it's possible. Is it probable? No.
no?
Um, the main thing is that look, I'm sorry, I'm a tush push believer, y'all. That they're going to
Yeah,
push their way into the end zone
oh, they
every
definitely will.
day.
Yeah,
yeah,
And the main thing that you're gonna have, it's really just luck. Are you gonna line Chris Jones up in the right spot to make sure that they can't get it? Because he is one of the best run stopping D tackles in the league, without a doubt.
uh-huh.
Um,
100%.
I mean, that tush push is something different, and I don't know why people keep getting up in arms. It's a QB sneak. I mean, it's not like it's not like it's gonna get you 16, 15 yards every time. The main thing to do to get the Eagles to not use a tush push is to not give them a situation to tush push. So you've got to keep it at fourth and maybe three, fourth and four, fourth and five even. Because if they get the chance, they're going to use it. It's an effective play. So Cam Jurgens has been really good for them. I know that he's been much different than Jason Kelsey at center, but like you said, Jacob, it's really just about really for me it's who gets lined up where. And
Exactly. Exactly.
even Karloftis might even need to get into the middle at least a couple times, give him
Mhm.
some extra push.
I would
Yeah,
love to
honestly,
put
that's
Leo Chenal in there. Like I feel like Leo Chenal has done a lot of good work with getting into like just having good jumps on defense when he needs to. He had the blocked field goal. Um, he's been getting a lot of tackles on short plays like that. So if I had to give a key player, I would put Chenal on parts of on plays like that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I didn't think about that when you said they don't put him in the position to do the QB push. I didn't think about that. So yes, that I was like I didn't think about that. So yeah, you're absolutely right on that take.
Well, I appreciate it, but I have one question for you guys. What's the let's be real. Both these teams have really good players. What's the weakness? I mean, what do you attack as like the Eagles or what do you attack as the Chiefs to really make one of these teams come out on top?
Like you said, like yeah, definitely I want to get the running game going, but it's the passing game, like you said, with the linebackers, you gotta throw it to where they're at. So I say if he drops his zone plays where they're at and say get like Hollywood Brown to run a route, then I think we can do that. That's my opinion. So Jacob, what do you think?
I mean, when you look on paper, right, there is not a lot of weaknesses for both teams, um, because you just have a lot of firepower coming from both defense and offenses for both the Eagles and the Chiefs. They've been two of the best teams all year. Um, however, I feel like a little bit of an Achilles heel on defense for the Chiefs has been their defensive backs a little bit. Um, and I will say why. Trent McDuffie has been good.
Yes, sir.
Jalen Watson has been hurt, and when he came back, he hasn't been as good. And then, other than that, I feel like if they don't play up to speed, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith could have a lot of yards and have a really good game against them. Um, and it comes to a surprise because it's hard to find an Achilles heel on defense for the Chiefs because the D line is super good and the linebackers are good. So if I had to pick a part of that, I would honestly go the DBs just to be smart and play smart. With the Eagles, I would say um, probably just they have a lot of young players and young players in big spots can they have to prove themselves and they if they can't prove themselves, obviously it goes in a bad direction, you know. But if they can easily thrive. So it's just kind of like um, a spot for the Eagles, especially on defense. They have a lot of young players on defense, so they've proved themselves all year, and they'll just see if they can do it again.
Yes, 100%. And to wrap this up a little, I do want to say, what does a win does to Patrick Mahomes' legacy? So, Jacob, I'm gonna let you start this one off.
It definitely adds to it. It 100% adds to it. He would be the only QB, to have three Super Bowl wins in a row. Um, I think he'll either cement himself as the second or third best NFL player QB of all time, probably QB. Um, I've heard a lot of people saying he's the GOAT. He's not there yet. I mean, Brady's beaten him two times in the playoffs. Mahomes didn't even beat him once in there. Brady's already got seven Super Bowls. Mahomes only has four, I think, three or four. Um, but you know, it will definitely add to it, and it will definitely put him on a good pace to keep going if he were wanting to pass Brady or just get up there in the same conversation.
Yeah, yeah. I would say Tom Brady is the guy right now. I'm a diehard Chiefs fan, and I'm not gonna be afraid to admit it. But I will say, if with a win, the talks are gonna start about who's the goat. But I would say we'll take another Super Bowl.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, I would say we'll probably take another Super Bowl to get him to be the goat. But yes, that's my take. So Jay, what's your take?
All in all, I'm with Jacob. Pat is too far away from the GOAT. I mean, if he gets this one, he gets four. So we're talking 4 to 8 championships. I don't think that puts him there. He would be like, I think he would be, this solidifies him at number 2 over Joe Montana. Like, this is not a
I
doubt.
agree.
But he may need at least like 2 more. If we're talking GOAT, he's going to need like at least 2 more. And that's even on the low end. If he can somehow get to 7 or 8, then I'd really be the person to say that is the GOAT. That is the absolute best football player to ever step on the field. I don't think Pat really cares too much about like the GOAT conversation though. And I think that's kind of why I feel like that's why he's as great as he is. He doesn't really care about the media end of everything. He's just playing football at the end of the day.
100%.
And I think with how he's kind of changed his own idea of like how to play, especially because I remember him in 2018, 2019. I mean, he was chucking. Like it was boom, boom, downfield, 59 touchdowns, seven interceptions. Like basically trying to pass everyone who had been before him. But now seeing him play this slow, methodical version of football and seeing how much it actually produces, yeah, I think Pat is going to make a name for himself. I think he solidifies himself at 2. So that's my biggest take. And yeah, I can't really think too much else.
I want to comment on that real quick, if that's okay. So like the first year of Mahomes, he obviously had his best year, 50 touchdowns, not a lot of interceptions at all. However, I feel like even though the stats might have gotten worse, he's matured a lot as a QB, just with the mindset. It might not look like it, but like you can tell like he didn't really care much, which is why he was throwing a lot earlier in his career. It worked out, but when he started growing older, he started losing just a little bit of ability. You can tell, just a little bit. But that happens to everybody. But I agree with if he, since he has grown a lot mentally with the mindset and just not focusing on anything else except for just winning.
Mhm.
He definitely could win a couple more Super Bowls, and he's got a lot more time, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and he has not really shown any injuries in the past, knock on wood. So yeah, that's all I will say about that.
Yep. Yeah. But I will say, I feel like he has like might say wins over stats. Like Josh Allen had a better year this year. I will say that. But who's in the Super Bowl? Like
100%, yeah,
he wins when it matters. So yes, I definitely agree.
exactly.
Yep. So I think that'll be enough for today. So we will catch you guys later.